Welcome back to Let's Talk Harlingen. I'm Mayor Norma Sepulveda.
And I'm Cassandra Concilio.
We're here to keep you updated, informed, and connected to your city.
Let's get into it.
And in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Harlingen. I can't believe we are already at episode 13, and today we are continuing with our deep dives into the departments within the city of Harlingen. This is our second focus on EDC here in Harlingen, but it is going to be specifically focused on small business. I hope you were able to catch the last episode. Lots of good information, great information on this episode. But before we get into that serious stuff, Cassandra, what's going on in Harlingen this week?
Well, we have a lot going on in Harlingen. It's a beautiful days outside. It's a little bit cloudy, so you can walk, you can go do everything. And we do have art night coming up. It's the last Friday of the month. And we do encourage everybody, like usual, I'm going to literally tell everybody until I'm blue in the face to buy your tickets to Rio Fest. I'm just so excited that it's coming back, and I just want everybody to buy their tickets now so, they get it out of the way and they're ready to go. They can take a picture of their Rio Fest ticket or, I guess the screenshot of it because they're online and put it in the comments. I want to see if you guys are ready. And that's really what our main focus is on right now. And the Birding Festival registrations have opened up also.
Nice.
Are you registered?
Well, we're going to register together.
I know,
You said we're going. Yes. And I know that we're going to have an episode here on the podcast. Awesome, exciting things that are happening. I'm super excited. I love the Randy Rogers Band, so I'm excited. I know Signo's also a headliner. I think that there's something for everyone at Rio Fest. And so hopefully people are already buying their tickets because I'm confident that this is going to be a sold out event. The tickets are really affordable, low cost. Can you share a little bit about that?
Yeah, so a one-day pass is $7 and a weekend pass is $10, Friday and Saturday. That gets into everything. The concerts, the art show, the petting zoo, all of the vendors. We have so many vendors. This is probably our event that has the most vendors in it. And we also have vendors from Mexico, authentic artisan vendors that are coming in from Mexico. And so it's like a little bit of a, special vendor market as well.
Exciting stuff. Well, we've got a lot going on today, so I think we should get into it. What do you think?
Yes, I agree. This is the second episode of our EDC series where we get into it with Beverly and Jane. We're going to talk about small businesses. We're going to talk about all the programs they have to offer and just everything else that we didn't. I know that we talked a lot last time, but they offer a lot. So we just really want to deep dive and get to know the EDC a little bit better.
All right, so let's get into it. I'm excited to welcome back Beverly Loftus, who is the COO of the Harlingen Economic Development Corporation, and also a special guest, Jane Lozano, who is the Business Retention and Expansion Manager. That is a long title, but this woman here next to me is phenomenal, and I can't wait to hear all the great things that she has to say about small businesses right here in our community.
I'm super excited to be back again. I was like, man, they really liked me. I get back. I get to be invited a second time.
Yes.
This is super awesome. I'm super happy to be here. And well, I know Jane's probably happy too. So
Thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me to this session. I appreciate it.
I know we're going to learn a lot from you, Jane, because you're actually out in the community. Can you explain a little bit more about your long title and what you do on a day-to-day?
Okay. Well, my title is Business Retention and Expansion Manager. So it is a long title and I do a lot of things. But foremost, I go and I visit businesses and I check on them. I see how many employees they have and I see who they need to be connected to. Every business is unique, so everybody's has a different, need. And so depending on what that need is, I reach out to whoever they need to be connected to. So for example, TSTC, UTRGV, the workforce, things like that.
So Jane is being very humble.
I think so. I agree.
We'll loosen her up a little bit.
Yes. And I will just say that, I feel like I'm really engaged in the community and I talk to a lot of small business owners. And it is surprising to see that all of the people that I talk to know Jane. Yeah. And to me, that means that she's actually out there talking to people, getting to know them. And she really has the pulse on the small business community and really has become a big, a friend and a champion of small businesses. And I think that, speaks to the leadership at EDC thinking outside the box and not just focusing on everything that we heard during the last episode, big picture, right? Industry, manufacturing, things that really are the focus of most EDCs and should be, but at the same time, not forgetting that small businesses are really the heartbeat of our community and focusing and giving an opportunity for Jane to have that, just a platform to do all the great work that she's doing. So thank you to the EDC for caring about all the small businesses in our community. We want to get into just what are the resources for small businesses.
Yeah, so really, we're not just about big industry, right? As you mentioned, the small businesses are the backbone of the city, and we recognize that. And so I think, a lot of this started, Mayor, back when you were first elected. It was a priority for you. And I remember, all of us kind of getting together and talking about how can we, be more effective with the small businesses and help them find the resources that they need. So some of the things that we do in the community, one was starting with, making sure we had somebody in place that could reach out to the small businesses, and that's Jane. And we have another staff member, Maria, that works with a lot of startups and small businesses as well. And so being able to connect small businesses with somebody that can walk them through different resources, how to find capital, different things like that was a priority for us. And we recognized that that priority was a need. And so, in addition to kind of helping small businesses with resources, we have other programs that the EDC's established. And I imagine we're going to be talking about a lot of those today, but we want to make sure that we can not only provide those financial resources, the educational partnership resources, but we can work with small businesses to make sure that they're connected within the community. Just a variety of different ways that we can help small businesses. And I know we're going to tackle them a little bit at a time here. So I'll wait for those questions to be able to share more. And I know Jane's got some insight as well. So
Jane, what is a program that you are the most proud of that if there's a small business in Harlingen, you want them to know about this program? What is that?
Well, let me go back a little bit. I think Let's Get Down to Business is something that I'm very, very proud of. I think Mayor and I were, riding in my Jeep probably 2 years ago and trying to figure out how we could help some of these businesses and just kind of brainstorming. And I just came up with that event that we do twice a year. And it's like an informational event. And so what happens is a lot of the city entities come together, building, permitting, health, fire, water department. And then we also include the Small Business Administration, TABC, UTRGV, and we just kind of get together on a Saturday and we open it up to the public, and the business community. And so that gives them an opportunity to connect with who they need to connect with, ask those questions that they need to ask. Of course, the EDC is there, the Chamber of Commerce is there. Everybody who you would need to talk to if you were going to start a business is there, and they're accessible. And so I think that's something I'm very, very proud of.
Yes, putting the resources
and we're
at somebody's
continuing that.
fingertips.
Sorry?
Putting the resources at somebody's fingertips. So you don't have to go searching. They're there for you. So you anticipated you might have a problem getting a TABC license. Not a problem, but you don't know how to start it. Here they are. You don't know what resources the EDC has available. Here they are. So if you have all that information out there and printed, and you can get the businesses going fast.
Yeah. And that event is not, here's a pamphlet, go away. It's let's talk. This is who I am. This is what I can do for you. Let's ask those hard questions. A lot of people have a dream, right? Their business, that's all they can think about, but they don't know the back end of it. And that's kind of where we come in and we kind of fill in the blanks.
It's definitely one of my favorite events of the year. And I know it's something that you work towards really hard, and it takes months and months of preparing. Talk a little bit about the Small Business Advisory Committee that helps you make sure that this event goes seamlessly.
Oh yeah, they are a very integral part of the event. I think probably about 2.5 years ago, we put that committee together. Actually, they were handpicked, and they're very active in the community, and so they They are all hands on and they volunteer for the event, but they just don't do that. They kind of listen. They're kind of the ears on the street too. And if there is an issue that arises in the business community that needs to be addressed, for example, like an ordinance that needs to be changed, uh, we sit at the table, we discuss that. And I know we bring you in, we bring in the planning department, and we see how we can come to an agreement so we can change that ordinance. For example, the flag ordinance, that was changed probably about a year and a half ago.
Right.
And so to bring attention to those businesses that need that advertisement, on the side of their business, so they have visibility. So
Well,
And I know
have-
Maria has been
Yeah.
working on
Yeah.
making sure that this is a working board,
yes,
right? So
yes.
she's on it. You
Yeah.
want to just share with everyone a little bit about, I know she's not here with us
Yes.
today, but who is Maria and what kind of help
Okay.
does she provide?
Oh my gosh, Maria Escobar is phenomenal. I think she started with UTRGV, and we kind of stole her from UTRGV.
Sorry, UTRGV.
Yeah, we saw talent, and we said we need to take that talent. And so she is the small business startup specialist, and she will walk a business from the very get-go, like from your EIN number to funding, and she has been a very integral part of how the small business advisory committee has grown and become stronger, because she's on point. She makes sure everyone attends the meetings.
Mhm.
She's very active. Just recently she started a Plate It Forward, where she identifies the small business, the restaurants that
Mhm.
need some attention, that need some business, a little bit of help, and she'll go and we'll all meet there and just kind of have a party there for lunch, and give them some business and give them some attention, and just make them feel special and that they're part of the community. So, but Maria is great. I mean, I don't know, Beverly, you want to talk a little bit
Yeah,
about
so I was
Maria?
gonna
I don't
say,
do I
like,
don't do her
she-
justice.
No, she really takes the lead on. We saw that there was a need for our startup community as well. So small businesses are, a lot of them are existing. Jane reaches out and takes care of those small businesses, but we recognize that as we move forward in helping startups, we want to make sure that they have those resources as well. And so Maria started with UTRGV. She was in our office working with those startup businesses. And so we saw that, let's bring her in-house so we can kind of help mold her into the programs that we have. And then she can kind of take over that role for the entrepreneurship and startup programs. So she really has. She's taken off. She's helping coordinate all of our programs with our startups. And I know that the Small Business Committee and her, along with some leadership within the city, are working on a program right now that we'll be bringing to City Commission soon
Yay.
for approval. So we're hoping that gets passed, so we'll be able to launch a new program for not just our entrepreneurs and startups, but for our small business as well. So we're super excited about that. But she really has taken the charge in kind of leading those programming efforts for our startups and entrepreneurs. And we have a few programs that we'll talk about today going into the program. So
Exciting stuff. A lot happens at the EDC, and I think that this is a great opportunity for people to learn about these different initiatives.
Right.
And one of those, let's talk about the Kaufman. I know that this is something that the EDC has done for years, way before I even got here, and it really gives I would say entrepreneurs that foundation of knowing what they're getting themselves into, number one, and also kind of guides them on their path. Can you share a little bit about that?
Yeah, so Kaufman, I started in 2019. I think the Harlingen EDC had started the Kaufman program, I think a year prior to that, so in 2018. But ever since that year, we've hosted 1 to 2 sessions a year where we bring in 10 individuals from the Harlingen community. Some of them may be existing small businesses, some of them may be startup businesses that really have an idea but don't know where to go from there. And so we host this program called Kaufman Fast Track Program. It's a nationally recognized program. It's facilitated by University of Texas Rio Grande Valley, their entrepreneurship and commercialization center. That's a mouthful. But they come in and they help lead this program, and it's really about, helping people take their ideas and turn them into an actual business, right? Is it a feasible business? How do I market this business? What type of business do I set it up as? Is it an LLC? Is it a sole proprietorship? Is it something different? So it really takes them through all of those steps to start a business, have a business plan, get funding. It's a really neat program. And then from there, we can help them connect them to other resources after that program. So we've graduated probably over 80 participants from that program since 2019. We're launching another program or application portal. I think here within the next few weeks, we'll be launching another, come out and submit your applications. And I think that program starts in October, mid-October. So if you're looking at starting a small business, or you already have a business and you want to have a little more experience about business planning, marketing, definitely look for that application on our Facebook page. You can follow us. We're on Instagram. We'll be putting out that information pretty soon here.
And how long is this program?
It's a 7-week program. It's in the evenings. I believe we may change the dates, so you'll have to wait for our announcement on what those dates are and the times, but it is in the evening, 7 weeks. You have to be committed. It's very important that you participate from the beginning to the end. That's where you get the most value in the program.
Yes, to complete the program,
Right.
start it, and do we have any really standout success stories from the Kaufman program?
So we have a few success stories. I know that our Rise Up Harlingen pitch competition, the winner of that program last year, actually, all 3 winners actually went through our Kaufman program. So, and that's really the neat thing about this program is it takes these companies that have ideas, they help them be successful, they have a business. Then we take them through the Rise Up Harlingen Accelerator program, which really helps them scale, learn opportunities to grow their business. Then they get in front of a large crowd and they pitch to these judges and, trying to share how they're going to grow their business. Are they going to create new jobs? Are they going to create a storefront? And so last year, the winner was Brewski Spices. He had been really successful at, going out and marketing his business. He does beer salts. And so one of the things that came out of the Kaufman and the Rise Up Harlingen program was really, some new flavors, creating, opportunity to invest in equipment that will help him go from filling 100 bottles to 1,000 bottles within the same amount of time. So it was really impressive to see how he could scale up his business. He's doing really good. He's being successful. And then a few of the other winners, they've basically used those funds to, invest in either new equipment or to capture new sales or new accounts. So it's been a successful program, and we look forward to the one that's occurring. Well, there's a class going on now for the Rise Up, and then the pitch competition will be early October. So we're excited.
Ooh.
So for those that are unfamiliar with the Rise Up competition, it is like Harlingen's own Shark Tank, right? And you go through this rigorous program, and the idea is to come out on top, but
Yes.
you have to come to classes, you have to learn how to start a business, you need to ensure that your pitch is really going to be the selling point for your business. And then what are the prizes?
So our first prize is $30,000, which can really help a business either, like I said, either buy equipment, but they could also take that capital and use it as a down payment for a larger capital infusion, right? So it really depends on the needs of that business, but it's a lot of money that can really get a small business off the ground and help them scale up. And that's the whole design. Is it's for businesses that already have that traction, but they really need to scale and grow. One of our judges actually, she was part of the pitch competition. I'm gonna throw Brownsville a little plug here, but she was part of their pitch competition in Brownsville, and she used those funds that she won, and she has a really full scale business now. She's in HEBs. So that's the design here. Is we wanted to
Is that the La Pale?
yeah, La
Yeah.
Pale, yes. We wanted to create that program here in Harlingen and give Harlingen businesses that same opportunity to be able to scale their business or maybe reimagine what their business could
Yeah.
be, right? It doesn't have to be you going to a distributor and saying, "Hey, can you distribute my product?" But, is there more? Can you be in HEB stores? Can you, expand globally? I mean, there's opportunity and we want to help connect that business to the opportunity.
Awesome. So 30,000 for the grand prize.
Yeah, sorry, I got off
Second,
topic. 20,000 for the second prize and 15,000 for the third prize. So there's a lot of
That's
capital
good.
available
That
for our
is.
winners.
And just to kind of give a little plug to the 3 that won,
Yes.
we have Brewskis, which is the number 1, the winner overall, and then second place.
Sergeant Salsa, and he produces salsa, some really amazing salsa if you haven't tried it. And then our final winner was I'm drawing a blank.
It was Herbert.
Yeah, Herbert Castillo with
I9
Automation.
I9
And he did the automation,
Yes,
right? So
yes.
they kind of, I think, it was a perfect combination. I think they could all learn from one another.
Yep.
And so I know that Sergeant Salsa's doing really well also. And he's got a cool story because he's a veteran. And I think that the different labels have some type of
it's like private, first class, sergeant, something to that effect. So it's really cool, and it plays on that veteran theme. It's pretty neat. And then the highest rank is like your spiciest. So
right.
Oh, spice levels but they're labeled
rank,
as okay.
yeah.
That's
Yeah,
really neat.
It
I
really,
love
it
that.
really is. It's awesome. And so this year, it's or this round, they're in. I guess they're 2 or 3 weeks in, or
yeah, they're about 2 to 3 weeks in now. The pitch competition is in October. I want to say it's like October 1st or 3rd. We'll find out and let y'all know. And then we have a variety from automotive to service industry to retail. So those judges really have it cut out for them this year in trying to select the most innovative and creative and just scalable business. So we're excited. So if you're in the program, just know that you guys are going to have some hard work ahead of you. Keep it going.
yes.
Yeah.
And so just for those also that aren't familiar, you don't have to really be a Harlingen resident to participate.
Right.
You just need to commit to opening or having a business in the city of
Correct.
Harlingen. So
Correct.
it is really all inclusive of
Yep.
all small business owners that want to either scale or start up here in the city. So that's been phenomenal. So Jane, I've got a question for you. Let's pretend you don't know who I am, right?
Okay.
And I
Okay.
I have an idea. I don't know what to do. I want to open a business in Harlingen. And let's take, for example, my business is I want to open a hair salon. And I want to open this hair salon, and I found this location. It's such a cool spot. It's in downtown, but it used to be a restaurant. But now I want to open up a hair salon. Let's talk about that because I know
Oh,
that's
boy.
kind of something you deal with, right? I
Yeah,
want to
well-
give you some time to educate our viewers on what are those steps? What should I do?
Okay,
Norma
well-
doesn't know where to go to find out this information. Where would you? What advice would you give me?
Well, the first thing I would ask you is about your location, right? I know you've done your homework on it, and you said it was a restaurant before, right? So that's a big red flag for me right there. I would definitely make an appointment with you and probably the property manager or the person that is leasing the building, and we would have a talk. We'd have a long talk, and
Not that scary.
So why is
Wait.
that a red flag?
And that's a red flag because a lot of businesses go into a location and they don't realize what. So you have to get a certificate of occupancy to have your business in a location, right? And so, what's one thing you have to look at is what was that business before, right? And so there's a reoccupancy and there's a certificate of occupancy, right? If you're a hair salon and the place was a hair salon before, then it's a reoccupancy. Paperwork's a little less. It's not going to be that tedious. I could probably walk you through it. But if it's a restaurant and now it is going to be a hair salon, then we've got a lot. It's going to be a certificate of occupancy, and it's going to be a little bit more tedious.
Because that's a change
More
of
paperwork.
use,
Yes, it's a
right?
change of use. So what's going to happen is because of the let's get down to business, we've kind of decided, Maria and I, to come up with a little program called the courtesy inspection. And so what we do is we invite the building, the permitting. We'll invite fire. We'll invite water department if we have to. We kind of get everybody in the room and we say, okay, this is what you're looking at. This is the kind of repairs you have to do, just to kind of give you a cost estimate of what it's going to cost to kind of bring it up to code. Because you want to do a hair salon, you know what you're going to need to put some plumbing, more electrical, that kind of thing. So you're kind of on the same page, and you're not going to have those issues when you're like, okay, let me sign the lease. Okay, before you sign the lease, we want you to make sure that you know what you're getting into. So the courtesy inspections are very important. So I would definitely have a meeting with everyone, set up a courtesy inspection. We would, you would then take notes and say, okay, this is how much, maybe this isn't a good place for me to be. Maybe I should look at other places, right? And of course, I would help you as look for other locations, right? We'd say, okay, well, how many square feet are you looking for? And we'd go from there.
So I think that's super important of, before you sign the lease, before you commit, make sure that your business is going to be successful in the location that you have chosen, right?
Right.
Because I know people always say location, 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 and I couldn't agree more. But there may be some additional costs that
Yeah.
may be a financial barrier if you choose one location over another. And so courtesy inspection means you don't lose anything. You have an opportunity to go and see what can you expect, right? And sometimes, to Bev's point, I know she's like, it's not always so scary.
No.
Sometimes the change of use is not that
Yeah.
big of a deal because it's set up, or maybe in its previous life it was another type of business. But it's important to know these things so that way they can save on some potential, not just the financial part of it, but the time commitment
cost,
to be
yes.
able to, to change that use. And so that is definitely something that you would look at. Once you've identified a location, things look good, then what would you, then where would you send me?
Well, we'd probably have a conversation about, well, with Maria, right? We'd set up an appointment with Maria and we'd sit down and we'd, okay, do you know what you're going to do as far as marketing is concerned? Do you have all the things that you need? And if not, then we'll fill in those gaps. We'll connect you with UTRGV. We'll set up a meeting with Mr. Art Gonzalez, who actually is with UTRGV.
Yeah, he
and-
works for the Small Business Development Center,
And-
and they provide resources for business planning, financial modeling, things like that.
and
Where's
he,
that
yeah,
located?
They actually come to this city of Harlingen. So he's out of Brownsville. They have a location in Edinburgh, but they come to our location every 2 weeks to visit with Harlingen businesses. You can set up an appointment. You can reach out to Maria or Jane to get connected with that program. You have to sign up for their, their program online, but it's really easy. It's an easy process.
Awesome.
Yeah. We'll set you up with him and make sure that you have. I mean, if you're going to need financial help, that's where he can come in and help you with the business plan as well too. So that's what I would do with you.
Well, I
But-
feel
but
like
May-
I'm ready to open my business now.
well, Mayor, and then one thing too, timeline is important, right?
Right.
Because we need to understand if you're going to get a certificate of occupancy, you need to know up front how long it's going to take.
Right.
And so the courtesy inspection, not only does it save you money, but now you have a timeline, right? Because you're expecting to go in there and open up your business and get started right away.
Right.
But you have to realize things take time, right? And so now up front, this might take 4 weeks, or this is going to take 6 weeks because I need to change the plumbing or whatever. And so that communication is very crucial because, time is money in a business, right? And then now you realize, okay, wait a minute, let me slow down here. I'm not going to just be able to run in there and start
Right.
cutting hair, doing whatever you're going to do, right? So I just wanted to reiterate that.
Yeah,
so
I
that
think
you know that.
I think that's important because the last thing we want is for someone in our community to, be super excited and energized and ready to open their business. They sign on that dotted line, and they're going to have to start paying rent, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
On that lease. And it's important that they are able to open their doors as soon as possible. So, what I've learned today is that if someone is looking to open a business, they should really reach out to the EDC first, get that courtesy inspection, talk to the people, the experts, talk to the folks over at UTRGV, let the EDC really guide you and making sure that you're making those right choices so that way you can be set up for success. And so I think that is super, super beneficial. And I hope that the community, that's their takeaway from this, that, Jane is here to help. Maria is here to help.
Yes.
Beverly is here to help. Really everybody in the office.
Yeah. And I would just point out that, even if you're as a small business, if you're looking at finding a location and wanting to, get some help with what do I do, right? Is it the right space? Is it the right occupancy? All of that. But in addition to the small businesses, I would also encourage landlords and real estate professionals. So that's one of the really neat things about our role in the community is we're not just dealing with the small businesses. We're also working with those real estate professionals, those landlords, those developers. So we encourage them as well to reach out to us to help us or to allow us to help them, be connected with planning department, with the building department, and we can help them set up a courtesy inspection even prior to them finding a potential tenant, so they know what potential areas of improvement might be needed. So we encourage them as well. I just wanted to kind of point that out there. So
Yeah, I know that EDC is, really, really helpful and works hand in hand with the city. I know that, just for example, a little bit off topic, but when Academy came in, they identified they wanted to be in Harlingen,
Right.
and EDC didn't provide any financial incentives, which is great because there's more left in the toolbox for you to continue to recruit other businesses. But one of their focuses was, we want to be able to really minimize any downtime, and we
Yep.
want to be open by X date. What can you do? And and y'all are the ones that really,
Yeah,
took
I
the lead
remember
on
getting
that.
that call. It was like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Hey, we want to bring Academy. I was like, oh wow, this is awesome. Like this is so exciting. And yeah, so we got the call and we're like, we need to, I think they had to replat. We needed to replat in X amount of time sooner than 4 weeks, right? Because I think that's what they were told. And so, I called Gabe immediately and it's like, Gabe, hey, Academy wants to be here. What can we do? So Gabe, like, we were planned to go on
There's
a
a
trip
conference.
to a
Hmm.
conference to learn about, some specialized programming and partnerships and different things like that. And he stayed back and
Yep.
followed that process through. Academy was very happy. The developer was happy. And now we have this wonderful academy. So it takes some hard work and some, again, James pointed out timing. Timing is money, right? Sometimes in a company. So
Hmm.
it was really neat to see kind of that follow through and from the
I
city.
I definitely think that the relationships that you all build with a small business community, with a manufacturing community, just being out there in the business community,
Mhm.
it really says that we're here for you. Maybe you don't win the pitch competition, but Jane can
Yeah.
help you in a different manner.
Yep.
And maybe you're not ready to open up your storefront, but we can help you learn more in the Kaufman program. So there's something for every stage of a business owner. And then even after you build a business, then you have the retention. So you guys are there from the beginning
Mhm.
to the end to the follow up, and that is because you care about Harlingen, you care about growing, and the economic vitality of the city.
Right. Definitely.
I mean, I
100%.
love it. I love it hearing
Yeah.
all of this, because there are people that are watching that they do have an idea, and they
Right.
they say like, it's out of reach. I can't. I don't know, where would I begin. And I think that what we're gathering here is you begin at the EDC,
Mhm.
and that you all will lend them right into the right direction.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
love that. And I always want everyone to choose Harlingen, and I think it makes it easier when we have such a great team
Yep.
over at the EDC that is willing, ready to embrace any business that walks through the door. One of the things, I know we're kind of running out of time here, but I want to talk about Revitalize Harlingen. I think that is a very important initiative. What can you share with our viewers, Bev, about this amazing program?
Yes. So again, that was started about 3 years ago. I remember launching. It is grown, right? It was our first time in 2023 launching the program, but It has been a good success. So if you think about it, through Revitalize Harlingen, launched 3 years ago, we've actually seen over $650,000 invested back into the community. Out of that $650,000, only 178,000 of that has been through grant funding that was approved by the EDC board and the city commission. So if you think about it, that's a 365% return on investment.
Let's
So
pause right
three
there.
and a half
Let's give that
dollars for
its
every
moment.
dollar.
Let's give that its moment
Yeah.
because that is incredible.
Yeah.
Kudos to y'all
Yeah.
because that's amazing for
Yeah.
our small business community.
Mhm.
And tell us a little bit more about what exactly the program
Sure.
does.
So the program is designed to basically help a small business that needs kind of like a refresher on the outside of their building, a facade improvement, right? And so if you have a business that's or actual storefront, you could be a tenant, you could be the landlord, and it's older than 10 years old, you can apply for this program to help restore. Maybe it's paint, maybe it's signage, maybe there's a combination of signage, sidewalks, or parking lots, landscaping. I mean, we have a list of approved items, and so you can apply for this funding. We match up to $10,000. So if you invest $20,000 into improving the appearance of your building, then we will match that with $10,000. We do allow for some inside work to be done, but most of the work has to be done outside. But it's a really neat program. And again, businesses are seeing this as an opportunity to not only take the time to invest on the outside, but on the inside, but they're investing more than what's required. And that's what we really like to see. They're putting back into their business, which will in turn help them grow and sustain their current jobs that they have. And that was the design. It's not just about improving the outside of the facade, but it's about making sure that they invest back into their business, but they're retaining their jobs that they have. And it may be just one job, it may be two jobs, but that's important because a job is a job. And so we look at those
Right.
numbers as well, and determine how many jobs were retained and created from this program as well. Yeah.
That's fantastic.
This is when you give the big checks to everybody.
Yeah. So
I know
we
people like seeing
Yes.
those big checks. I mean, I do.
We haven't done that in a while,
Yeah.
but yeah, we did in the
Yeah.
beginning. We would take a big picture with the big check, and it was a fun way to celebrate their success. And they were super proud of what they did, and we were proud of what they've done. And sometimes it's just paint, but repainting goes a long way, right? It makes it look cleaner. And if we can all do, I think Orlando mentioned it yesterday in the coffee with the mayor, is like keeping the city tidy, right? I was like, oh, that's a nice way to put it, But I will say, like so prior to me being COO, I was actually did business retention in my role. It wasn't the title, but one of the things that I always constantly was told by our large industries, from Kohl's to Marshalls to some of the other different companies in the city, was that we had a clean Harlingen. Like, people loved the way that Harlingen looked. Like, they would rather be here in Harlingen than at one of the other locations, because they just felt like the city was so much nicer, cleaner. People respected each other. So it was important to hear that, So keep it up, Harlingen. Like, we're doing a good job to kind of keep everything beautiful. And I know the Public Works has been doing a lot to, do cleanups and all of that. But
Yeah, I'm so
Yeah.
glad you said that because, I know that it's sometimes hard to see if you are focused in one area,
Yeah.
but when you look at the community as a whole, that is something that I also hear
Mhm.
from businesses,
Yeah.
that they choose Harlingen because they want to invest in our community,
Mhm.
because they want to be in Harlingen.
Yeah.
And I think that is super important. And I also tell people, I know there's a lot of chatter online,
Mhm.
but sometimes our investors are looking at what is the community
Yeah.
talking about?
Yeah.
And so it's always important for our community to be cheerleaders for the city of Harlingen.
Yes.
You want more for Harlingen, then you need to support Harlingen. You want to see, a specific type of business, well, then show them why that business
Yeah.
needs to be in Harlingen, because the
Mhm.
community is going to come out and support them. So I think that's such a great highlight. Are there any specific businesses, Jane, that have been the recipients of Revitalize Harlingen that you think just really stand out in the community?
Yeah, the jiu-jitsu location
Oh,
on Jackson.
Yeah,
Harlingen
they did a
Jiu-Jitsu
really-
Club?
Harlingen Jiu-Jitsu, yes. Jacob Mondavlo, phenomenal job on the outside, landscaping,
Oh,
incredible.
yes.
Little Bloomers on F Street really revitalized her. Those are two off the top of my head that I can think of right now that stand out.
Absolutely.
And yeah, and I think that the community needs to continue to support small businesses and to just buy locally. We always say that here, we're Harlingen shoppers. Everybody should be a Harlingen shopper because the property tax dollars come back to Harlingen. We can reinvest up here in Harlingen and we can give back to small businesses in a way. So it always really comes full circle. If you shop here, then the EDC gets more money to be able to give out grants for facade improvements, and that you actually see it live on Jackson Street. You just go down this, you can see it. And so continue to support small business. Is there a definition of small business that we need to know?
A definition?
Yes, like
As far
how
as
many employees or
Well, I would say anywhere below 25 employees
Yeah, most of our programs are 25 and under.
25 and under.
Yeah, small business though can be defined
I know,
really.
yes.
We usually typically go by the SBA Small Business Administration standards, which is like 500.
Yeah.
But you can't make over a certain amount of revenues. But in our kind of programming, we typically will think of a small business as 25 and under, but we know that can be different. And so I think we even put in there in our newer programming guidelines is according to the SBA standards. So,
Got it.
we try to help small businesses, whether they're 50
Yeah.
employees.
We don't discriminate. If you're Walmart or if you're, a small business, it doesn't matter. I will still go visit
Walmart
you.
wouldn't probably
Yes,
be technically.
I mean-
They're our number one sales tax payer, but
But a plug for Walmart
Yes.
that
Yes.
their sales tax, Walmart in the city of Harlingen, they generate more sales tax in Harlingen than any other Walmart in the region.
well, yeah.
So
Really?
that's
pretty incredible.
That's pretty
Yeah.
incredible.
We do.
So
And they
Shop
just
Walmart.
reinvested in their store.
Yes.
Our HEBs
Yes.
reinvested. So we've got
We-
something going on here.
we do.
Yeah.
Before we go, I want to talk a little bit about, because we're here in downtown and there's been some recent changes, and I know I've gotten some emails and
Yeah.
some phone calls regarding the change. There was a PID down here that is going to be dissolved, which for those that are unfamiliar, the small businesses or the owners of the properties downtown pay a small tax to be part of the downtown program, if you will. And so that was up for renewal. And after talking to a lot of the business owners and tenants, they, wanted to see what else can be done for downtown. And we're going through a comprehensive master plan for the city. We've got a downtown plan going, a parks plan, and EDC plays a big role in terms of revitalizing downtown. So before, business owners had to pay this small tax, which I think in total was about $40,000 that was collected. And then that $40,000 was all, I guess, set aside and given to business owners or tenants in a form of a grant to help with similar stuff like
Right.
Revitalize Harlingen. But now that $40,000 is not going to be collected, it's my understanding that now the EDC has stepped in. Can you talk about the funds that are going to be allocated just for downtown?
Sure. So, in our budget for this fiscal year, we've actually set aside $100,000 for the downtown area that can be utilized for these facade improvement programs. We are working closely with the Downtown Association or Alexis from downtown office to make sure that we can integrate our program guidelines with their guidelines to create new guidelines, but guidelines that would benefit the downtown, businesses to allow them to be able to improve their facades, maybe open up the opportunities a little bit more. Maybe it's not just, I think they did like the awnings and maybe some windows or something like that, but there's going to be probably an expansion of things that they can do to help improve their facades. So we're really excited with that kind of collaboration with the downtown and with the EDC to make sure that the downtown businesses have this opportunity to additional funds, not just 40,000, right? So now we have $100,000 that they can access to be able to improve their storefronts and put some investment back into their business.
It's fantastic.
No, it is just, we have to have guidelines.
Yeah.
It couldn't just be like, these are tax monies and we're just going to see what happens, right? I know that you guys are very responsible with all
Yeah.
the money that you get, and you want to make sure it goes into the right hands and
Right.
make sure that it gets applied correctly, and there are rules. So it's
Yeah.
just, I think it's very normal. I think it's great to go from 40 to 100, and seeing that you never know, you could keep growing in the
Yep.
future. There is no limit to how much you guys can put into this, right?
Yeah, so I
Program.
mean, this is the first year where we've gotten the funds approved to take this $100,000 and set aside for the Harlingen downtown businesses. We've approved, we're going in front of commission, I think on September 3rd to approve our budget for this next fiscal year, which will include monies for the Revitalize Harlingen, for our pitch competition. So we're really excited for what the future continues to hold for us and for the small business community. We're excited for the opportunities to expand our programming and help new businesses grow and succeed here in Harlingen.
We've learned so much today from the EDC, our second part in the EDC series. And all of this information is also available at the EDC website and their Facebook. A lot of people get their information from there, and we know that. So we put it out there. You could call them, you can go by their offices. They're always there to help. But this part of the segment of our Let's Talk Harlingen is where we take questions from the audience. And usually it's just the mayor and I, kind of taking on these questions. But today we wanted to include the EDC because we do have a lot of questions from the community. And one of the main questions we got from the community, and either of you guys could take it, is what company are you most proud of to have brought to Harlingen? I know you guys work hard on these start to finish, right? You get a call randomly, or
Hmm.
you get an email, and what did you try the hardest that came? What is your most proud moment of a business you brought to the city of Harlingen?
Bev, I'll let you take the lead on this one.
Okay, thank you. No, so I'll just mention a few that everyone's gonna, that most people
Mhm.
will recognize, and then there's quite a few that maybe people don't, right? So, but one is Walk-Ons, right? The Walk-On Sports Bistro. We had started developing a relationship with that franchisee owner. And actually, our first work with him was in helping him establish his second IHOP off of Ed Carey. So we helped him bring the IHOP number two. And then we just kind of developed that relationship. He had been exploring opportunities to bring a second walk-ons to the valley. Was not considering Harlingen at first, another community. And so we're like, so we, had some lunches together and we went to a trade show and I talked with corporate and we had this beautiful piece of property next to Bass Pro Shop that we knew would be great for a larger, fast casual dining experience. And so we talked to corporate, we talked with the franchisee, and we met at the site. We did a site visit. They did some tours around the community, decided, this would be a good location. So from there, it was just a lot of legal documents and, doing some closing and building, remediating some of the concrete that was there. I mean, it was a lot of process, but we were super excited that they decided to choose Harlingen. They've been very successful. They've retained and created a lot of jobs for our community. I know they're restaurant jobs, but hey, everyone's got to eat too, right? And so they provide good jobs for people that
No
want
pun
some type of,
intended.
different types of jobs. So we're really excited about that one and that partnership. They've been a great asset in our community and are looking at other things to do in our community as well. So they're not done with just walk-ons. They're actually building the new Taquero Mucho
What's that?
next door. It's a taco place.
Cool.
So be super excited about that. But in addition to walk-ons, we also worked with the Matt's Building Materials. They had reached out to us in their exploration of sites, and there were some challenges where they're at located now, as far as being able to potentially bring in a rail spur and different things like that. So we came together, we found a solution, and we helped them kind of choose Harlingen, right? And so that's going to be really successful. They produce a lot of sales tax for the community. And when we look at businesses like this and like who do we incentivize, who do we not, right? We are, as I mentioned before in the previous last week when I came here, incentives are sometimes based on like investment and sales tax created. And so Mott's building materials, walk-ons, they all produce sales tax. But one of the ones that produces a lot of sales tax for our community that we helped recruit here to Harlingen was Equipment Share. And they are ranked within the top 30 sales taxpayers of Harlingen. And so they produce a lot of sales tax for Harlingen. So it's important, again, to make sure that we're using these sales tax dollars to incentivize the right company to come to the area. And so it may not be retail, it may be industrial, it may be a retail into the fact that it's serving the industry, not necessarily, folks to eat. But so we have our kind of different programs that can help different types of businesses, but we're excited about those. There's many more, but I won't go on. But if you want to know more about what we do, about who we can help and how we incentivize companies, call us, reach out to us, follow us on Facebook. We're here to help.
I only have one request, that whenever you do release information, I know you have your code names, that you
Yes.
tell us.
We'll say, okay, we're really excited because we're going to be promoting a couple announcements here in the next few weeks.
So everybody needs
Two
to
programs.
be, yes.
Yes.
We got to be on the lookout. You guys are going to drop 2 exciting announcements.
Yes. Yep.
So everybody.
So how do we
knows.
get them on Let's Talk Harlingen, Cassandra?
You can just come to my. I'll go to
Okay.
your office. I'll just take my
On-
This
phone.
may be the month of EDC conversations.
There you go.
Right?
Because it's
on the
important,
road.
yeah.
Let's Talk Harlingen. We're going
that'd
to
be
the
fun.
EDC
We're gonna
building.
go to your office. It's a really pretty office, actually,
It is.
and you guys are very integrated with TSTC. I
Mhm.
know that they are training our future workforce in Harlingen, and that's just part of like your sales pitch of
Yep.
Harlingen.
Mhm. Yeah, for
I-
sure.
I mean,
And maybe that's
selling-
another program too, learning
Yeah.
about all of our job opportunities and the work that Jane and the educational partners are doing to make sure they educate the future workforce in these high demand jobs. So
I
That'll
think
be
we
part
are
3.
going to need
Yes.
a segment 3. These, we acknowledge that the last EDC episode and this one
Mhm.
runs a little longer than the
Yeah.
others. It's just that there's so much information, and it's what the community wants to know.
Yeah.
Everywhere I go, people want to know about what's happening, what's coming into the city of Harlingen, what are those opportunities, how can I open a business, what businesses are opening. I'm glad that you mentioned Te quiero mucho,
Mhm.
that, because that's been, people have been saying it's all these other things out there.
Where is
but
it?
really, it's right next to Walk-Ons. They're
Walk-Ons.
building out
Oh,
there.
cool.
Yeah.
And
And
then-
so it's
I
good
think
that
we're
you
gonna
hear
go to
from
lunch
Bev.
to Walk-Ons.
I think it's important that, if you have any concerns or you want to know the facts, you go to the EDC. Sometimes it can't tell you, unfortunately. But once it's ready to be disclosed, y'all are really, the ones that have all of the information. I know I'm constantly calling Beverly, like, what's going on over here? What's going on over here? This is going up.
Yeah.
And yes.
Or we secretly already know, so like other people leak it onto Facebook and we're like, dang it, like we wanted to be able to
I
share that. And sometimes
know.
like we don't get to share the
Yeah.
exciting news, others in the community get to, and that's okay. But sometimes we had a hand in that.
Mhm.
But we can't, because then it would hurt our confidence from
Right.
our clients or
Investor, yeah.
investors or developers. Like we're not gonna spill the beans, right?
Right.
But we are excited to be able to spill the beans in a couple
Soon.
weeks. For
I know that there is a particular business that I really want to come to
Yes.
Harlingen, and I constantly tell Bev, when can we share? When can we share? And she tells me I can't. So I follow the rules, and I see other areas in the region that don't follow the rules, and I want to be like them. But the lawyer in
We
me,
have a rule follower, Mayor.
I am a rule follower, but I can't wait to share because I know that people are going to be excited about this one. But
Yep.
all I know is that between Beverly, Jane, Orlando, Maria,
Maria,
everyone at the
Marianne.
EDC, they are working so hard behind the scenes and know what the community wants, and that's where their energy is focused on bringing those businesses. And we are just very, very fortunate to have an incredible team.
Yep.
Harlingen is, I think in the next few years, with everything that you guys have in the pipeline, from large industry to small businesses, we're really going to see some significant change. So thank you for all the work that you do. Thank you for stopping by and
Thank you.
chatting with us. This has been such an incredible episode, and we hope everyone at home really, has some great takeaways. And I think we're going to have to do a segment 3 on
Yeah.
workforce. So we're going to have to figure that out. But yeah, I think that wraps up today's episode.
And that's why you guys have to choose Harlingen. You
Cassandra,
have to eat. Yes.
Excuse me.
Jane?
Can I just say one thing? Can I interrupt
Oh
you?
my gosh, of course.
I just want to plug something in real quick.
Tell us.
Job fair, apply Harlingen, September 24th, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Harlingen Convention Center. It's the biggest job fair that Harlingen has.
Wow. So Jane has so many programs going on that she's got one more September 24th at the
Yes.
Harlingen Convention Center. It's an Apply Harlingen job fair. So everybody's got to work in Harlingen, choose Harlingen, shop, do everything in Harlingen, please. And all of us will see you around town, and we'll see you next week.
That's it for this episode of Let's Talk Harlingen.
If you like what you heard today, make sure to subscribe on our YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts.
We've got more conversations coming your way. Let's talk again soon, Harlingen.